want to talk for a quick second about the importance of speaking to people in their own language. And this is something that I've been trying to do increasingly as I get more experience with public speaking, with reaching out to different people from different groups. So for example, in the past 6 months, I've spoken at permaculture events, and I'm not a permaculturist, and I've spoken on a panel with Marxists, and I'm not a Marxist, right? And the way that I've done that, the way that I've approached it, is by trying to study their material enough, trying to learn their perspective enough and their world enough that I can create touch points of common ground with them by referencing common ideas and common sort of knowledge within their communities. That creates a connection between me and them, and that breaks down some of the barriers that like to come up when people experience or come into contact with ideas that are pretty alien to the world that they normally inhabit. So using this same method is just a great way to build relationships with anybody from a different political perspective. Whatever tendency they're coming from, whatever community they're coming from, if you can put yourself in their shoes for long enough to start to understand their concerns, their worldviews, their values, their perspectives on things, then you have a really powerful way to understand them and then connect with them. And connecting with people is the first step to real communication. So this is just an appeal to people, as we start to build a radical political movement, a revolutionary political movement that needs to be rebuilt so strongly in this time. I mean, it's a necessity that if we're going to preserve life on this planet, if we're going to have any sort of future worth living in, with the crises that we're facing, all the converging crises, we need to build these radical, deeply revolutionary political movements, and we need to overcome this fracturing that divides our communities so often, that's so deep that, and that so often, even those of us who condemn that fracturing, because this is the thing, like, when I talk to people about that fracturing, almost everyone agrees with that. Everyone sees the problem, but not that many people, in my opinion, seem to actually work to get outside their own political bubbles, outside their own spheres, and work to help dismantle that problem, and start to build cross-movement solidarity and cross-movement alliances. And I think that we can do that. Obviously, one person can only do so much, so I'm trying to outreach to the groups and communities that I have access to. I gave a couple examples, and there are more. And I will continue to, communicate and speak with any groups that I come into contact with. But I think that we all need to sort of take this on deliberately as a political practice. And it will help, not only develop our own political awareness and our own understanding of what's going on, because, different movements have different strengths and weaknesses, and that includes whatever movement you consider yourself to be a part of. So by studying other movements and learning their perspectives, you can shore up some of your own weaknesses and deepen your own political analysis and your own political strategy in a really valuable way. And by creating those touch points, those commonalities with other communities and being able to speak in their language and to their concerns and their worldview, you create a solidarity and a common ground that is much stronger than it would otherwise be if somebody just comes in without knowing and understanding that community at all and says, hey, I have these ideas and I don't really care about what you're about, but I'm just going to dump my ideas on you and hope that you agree with me and get on board with my program. That's not humble. It's not a good way to approach other communities. And instead, when you come in with solidarity and common ground, and you recognize your own deficiencies and you point out the strengths and the beautiful things about the movements that you're interacting with, and you say, this is really wonderful, I love what you're doing in this area, then, that creates goodwill, it creates solidarity, and I think that we need that right now.